Hello everyone, and welcome to this educational presentation of the power of the buy-sell line. Now in today's webinar, I'm going to show you how easy it is to become a consistent investor or trader, just someone who is consistent in the markets, and basically by keeping things as simple as possible. So let me give you a couple of examples here, just exactly of what I mean here. Let's look at this chart in FOSL fossil. Now someone looking at this would say, wow, it's really come down rather quickly. And I like to follow the institutions, and they're really buying around here. As you can see, we've made kind of this double, almost triple bottom. And I also like to follow a lot of Fibonacci movement. And so there's some basic support here. So you decide to jump in and to buy, because after all, it should be, it should be due for a nice bounce, possibly half the distance back up. So you jump in and buy, whether it's options, the actual stock, or whatever you want to purchase, and this happens. Look familiar to anybody? Or how about this, the opposite side of the coin? Let's look at the QQQs here. They've been going straight up since January. Now the market's been going straight up, but all the indicators, all the oscillators, everything that you follow says the market is tremendously overbought. It's just too far extended to the upside, okay? Let's say the chat room you go to says that they don't like this at all. They think that the people are selling into this. The volume does not in any way confirm this. And on top of that, you have a very sharp downward day here that generates some type of a bearish engulfing pattern. So it's your decision to go short. So you decide to sell, and this happens. By next 2 weeks, you're actually making new highs. But you're not discouraged yet, because you see on this second bounce, it wasn't confirmed. Say you like to watch divergence, other indicators. Maybe the chat room or the guy you watch on TV still says this is a great short. We're just making a double top. All the news coming out, economic news coming out says we're going to be headed much lower. So you decide to sell again. And it goes down a little bit, but by the end of the month, it's making brand new highs, okay? This is very common. This is, I would say, the way 80 to 85% of all traders trade. They're usually buying when they should be selling, and selling when they should be buying, okay? What if there was some type of tool that had a very high consistency rate of putting you on the right side, so that the odds were in your favor, so that when you really did buy or sell something, it went at least in that direction, for at least for you to make a little bit amount of money? Well, there is something I've been introduced to, roughly I was introduced to it about 4 decades ago, and this is called our buy-sell line. Today's presentation, I'm going to show you the power of this buy-sell line. It's tremendously simple, but tremendously powerful as well, and you'll be able to apply it to your own trading as early as, I'd say, an hour from now when we conclude this presentation. So, once again, this promises to be a great webinar. Welcome once again. My name is Steven Primo. I'm the president and founder of Specialist Trading, and as you can tell by now, our only goal is to simply educate you as a trader, because it's been my experience in 4 decades of trading that that's the only thing that will make you consistent. It's not some fly-by-night system that produces thousands and thousands of percent result, going back 10 years back tested. It's not some guy in a chat room that seems to hit winning trades all the time, and it's not some convoluted indicator that works 110% of the time. Those are things that are really recipes for disaster, in my opinion. Why? Because they've taken you out of the game. The only thing that will keep you in the game so that you can be trading 10, 20, 30, 40 years down the road is knowledge of things that have stood the test of time, that are very consistent, and then giving you that knowledge so that you can make your own trading decisions. This is what we do at Specialist Trading. About 8 years ago, I teamed up with Pro Trader Strategies, and we formulated our educational companies, where all we do is provide members and students the tips and techniques that I've accumulated in my 4 decades of trading. Now, my career started off in stocks. I started off about 40 years ago trading on the floor of the Pacific Stock Exchange. I was on the floor for 16 years, and 9 of those years, I was a specialist. That's where we get the name Specialist Trading. A specialist was just someone who made markets in roughly about 50 or 60 stocks. So if you wanted to buy or sell a particular stock, you had to go to the trader who specialized in that, who made the market in that. So I did that for about 9 years. I traded through the crash of 1987 and the bull market that followed. So I've been involved in just about every market environment imaginable, straight down, straight up, sideways, quiet markets, volatile markets, and I've traded just about every strategy and system you can think of. So I know in 40 years what works in terms of consistency, and I know what doesn't. And I was lucky enough when I first started trading to have some mentors push me and point me in the right direction that gave me the knowledge and information that have been able to sustain me now for 40 years. So this is what I do. with all of my teaching and trading. I just simply educate my members the same things that were able to turn my trading around. So today promises to be, once again, a great presentation. You're going to be able to start using this tool in just about an hour on your own. But before we begin, please take a moment to view this. We're required to show you a disclaimer, so please take a moment to view it. I'm going to show you a lot of performance results, a lot of chart examples, a lot of markets and time frames using the buy-sell line. But please remember that we can in no way guarantee that any of the results I'm about to share with you will be repeated in the future. Once again, we are required to show you this. So as you're taking a brief moment to view our disclaimer, I would also like to invite you all to join me on Twitter. Every day I post information on Twitter, anywhere from signals. About a week ago, we posted a great buy signal in the E-mini S&P, and actually we got out of that with a nice 14-point gain. It's about $700 per contract. And we're out totally, and now the market has gone lower, but that's okay. For you using our standard benchmark exit, you would have been out of the trade already. We also post Forex signals, and these are signals that our strategies generate. And we also post just different bits of educational wisdom along the way. So lots of great ways to follow us, especially here on Twitter. Now, having said that, once again, excuse me, our goal is to teach you. You notice here, I didn't say my goal is to have you come to my chat room and see what I'm buying and selling on a daily basis, or my goal is to provide you with a signal service so that you don't know what to do on your own and just simply have to copy what I'm buying or selling. I mean, that, once again, is a recipe for disaster, because that's the way most traders trade. You basically rely on someone or something else to do your trading for you. And that's why 80 to 85% of all traders fail, it's been estimated, because you're really not involved. You've basically taken yourself out of the game and let someone else do that for you. Well, the only way you're going to be able to become a consistent trader, in my opinion, is by doing the work yourself and by making your own trading decisions. Sure, it's okay to listen to someone, but take it with a grain of salt. Ultimately, you have to make that decision whether you're buying or selling. You have to decide where you want to get in, where you want to get out. We provide all of our students and members in over 110 countries in every state in the United States with signals for entry, exit, stop placement, money management, but we give you different variables so that you can ultimately make your own decision and decide how you want to trade it. So you have about 5 to 10 different choices based off a standard benchmark. Ultimately, you're going to be in charge of your own trading. This is what changed my trading around and what I really believe has been able to sustain me for 4 decades, and this is what we teach all of our students and members around the world. So today I'm going to be teaching you about the buy-sell line, but before we begin, since this is a classroom setting, if you have any questions, kindly wait till the very end to ask questions. I know a lot of you like to, go to webinars where after every slide there's a question, and I can see we already have questions being asked already. But remember, if we stop for every question, we'll turn this hour-long presentation into about 5 hours. So I'll only answer one question, which I see is the most common one, and that is this being recorded? Yes, it is. I record all of our presentations, so if you have to leave early, or if you're having technical difficulties, oftentimes if you just sign off and sign back on again, it will be resolved. But if you can't hear or see everything correctly, just ask for a link to this recording from Pro Trader Strategies. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Battling a rough case of allergies today, so bear with me while my voice tries to clear here. Okay, so with that being said, remember once again, if you just joined us, please wait till the end to ask any questions. Now let's begin. Let's begin by asking you a question, okay? What is the buy-sell line? I know a lot of people are thinking, boy, is this something that I have to calculate? Is this something that's tremendously difficult to figure out, like the other indicators I've been sold or I've been talked about? No, this is extremely simple. But remember, it's been my experience that it's the simple things that make you a consistent trader, not the difficult things. My mentors taught me that the road to consistency is in simplicity. So strip away all the useless noise and keep things simple, and that's how you become a consistent trader. So what is the buy-sell line? Well, it's very simple. It's the 50-period simple moving average. That's all it is. Okay, now everyone knows about moving averages. You all have access to moving averages on your charting software. The beauty in the buy-sell line 50-period simple moving averages is knowing in the correct way, in the proper way to apply it. That's the secret. Most people don't know how to apply it correctly, and here's what the secret is. In order to use the buy-sell line properly, all you have to do is ask yourself this question, but you must ask it before each trade. Don't ask it after, ask it before, and that is, Where is price in relation to the buy-sell line? Okay, in fact, I would suggest, it's up to you, but I would suggest writing that down on a little post-it and posting it on your trading screen there, on your computer screen. Where is price in relation to the buy-sell line? You should ask yourself that prior to pulling the trigger. I don't care if you trade currency pairs. I don't care if you're a day trader. I don't care if you're an investor in your IRA account. It doesn't matter. Always ask yourself. Because once you ask yourself that, before you actually buy or sell something, you'll only have two possible scenarios. And the scenarios are, if price is above, well, then that means you're only going to be looking to buy. Regardless of what strategy or technique you use, you're only going to be a buyer if price is above the buy-sell line. And conversely, if price is below, you're only going to be a seller. That's it. You will never consider buying below the 50, and you will never consider selling above the 50. Now, I can almost guarantee you that if you go back and look at your last 10 or 15 trades, the reason why you had losses is because you were doing the opposite of this. All right. Once again, as I stated, trading is really simple. It's just ourselves that get in the way. We do the opposite, or we don't actually implement the rules correctly. The correct way to implement the 50 period or the buy-sell line is to only be buying if price closes above and only be selling if price closes below. Now, a lot of you are probably saying, well, I know you're saying simple, but Steve, that's way too simple. I thought this was going to be something really unique and different. Remember, simplicity will get you on that road to consistency. Don't look for all these fly-by-night methods. If they're supposed to work so great, then why isn't everyone a millionaire by now? That's just not the way it works. Keep things as simple as possible. Let's show you how important this is in its very root of simplicity. All right, let's go back and look at Fossil, that initial chart we looked at earlier. Remember, let's say the trader wanted to buy here because we're making a really nice baseline. All the institutions like it, and the chat room you go to says it's a buy. Okay, well, what's the first thing we do? We add the 50-period simple moving average, and we ask ourselves, where is price in relation to that 50-period moving average, the buy-sell line? Price is below. So are we going to ever buy if price is below? Absolutely not. So we're not buying here at all. I don't care what some guru says. I don't care what some master system or strategy says. The odds are in your favor over time that you will be consistent if you just follow this simple rule. And as you can see, it really would have saved you a lot of money. Now, am I saying that it works 100% of the time? No, nothing does. We're not worried about that. What we're worried about is consistency. I see all the time some great shorts above the 50 and some great buys that are below. But I know through my experience and insight that over time, if I try to find those tops and bottoms, over time, I'll lose money. In fact, it's similar to the slot machines in Las Vegas. They're designed to give you a win every once in a while, to make you feel like, hey, I'm doing all right. The bells and whistles are going out and I'm doing okay. But over time, you really have nothing to show for it. If you stay at the slot machines long enough, you're going to find out that you lost money, because that's the way the odds are tremendously against you. It's the same way with trying to pick tops and bottoms, trading counter trend to the buy-sell line. So as you can see here, we were below the 50-period moving average, so we didn't buy, and we saved ourselves a lot of money. Now, if we were more aggressive, we actually could have looked for places to go short. How about the QQQs? Remember that trading guru says this is way too overbought. All of the indicators, all the oscillators you follow are telling you you've got to sell this. The economic news is terrible. The fundamental news and what's going on around the world globally is terrible. You've got to sell, right? Don't listen to those outside sources. They're too subjective. Listen to something that has some consistency to it. What is it? The buy-sell line. Now we add it and we ask ourselves, where is price in relation to the buy-sell line? Price is above. Are we going to be selling if price is above? Never. So we don't sell anything, and we would have saved ourselves a lot of money. Now, once again, will it work every once in a while? Sure, but those one time it worked is not enough to make up for all the times you could have had losses. So it's not worth it. Trust me. I know from firsthand experience. I'm not just saying this to be condescending or arrogant. I know my first year of trading, that's the way I used to trade. I was known as the great contrarian on the floor of the Pacific Stock Exchange, because I always tried to buy at the bottom and sell at the top. And it would work every once in a while. But the times it didn't work, I gave everything back, okay? Trust me. My original first trade in during the crash of 1987, I tried to pick a bottom, which was silly. So I'm sure you know how that wound up. I lost a lot of money that day trying to pick a bottom. So those days you'll give everything back, and then you're right back where you started. So it's really not worth it. And you don't want to lose a lot of sleep, and especially your hard-earned money, okay? Now, here's what we found out. This is so simple, just like everything else. People will use it for a while because it's free. Any charting software has a 50-period moving average you can apply. But here's what happens. You start to think, well, gosh, I saw a great trade where I could have bought below, and man, I didn't do it, and I would have made a couple of $1,000, or I could have sold at the top. And so our egos, our minds start to come into play. We start to second guess it, and then we start to alter or not even apply the rules at all to the buy-sell line. All right. In fact, some of our students we'll talk to later, we go, boy, but the buy-sell line must have kept you out of a couple of bad trades there. And then our students will say, well, you know what? I really should have followed the rules, because what I did is I started to add other indicators, and then I, kind of bend the rules a little bit. Maybe I gave myself a little leeway. I added another moving average crossover, and you know what? I've been losing money again. I got to go back to the roots of listening to the buy-sell line. So we see this is just, it's human nature. What a lot of people do is you follow it until, your personality starts to come in. So we've developed something. I've teamed up and developed with Pro Trader Strategies, something that at least is designed to keep you a little bit more stringent with keeping the rules of the buy-sell line, along with all of our other methods and strategies. And that's our new PTS Primo Charting Platform. I'm really excited about this because it virtually contains all of my strategies, all of my techniques, including the buy-sell line, on a great but simple to use charting platform. As you see here, we're going to show you different ways to apply the buy-sell line, so you don't have to just rely on a moving average, how you can stay in the trades much longer by using these simple and unique and innovative tools. Let me show you what I mean here. Let's look at Fossil once again. Now here is the standard way of looking at the buy-sell line. You can start doing this as soon as we conclude in just about 30, 45 minutes from now. But as I stated earlier, sometimes when it's too simple, students get bored, they want to change and alter things, and hey, that's human nature. Once again, I've been there myself, but I've learned my lesson after 40 years not to. But we've made things simple, okay? So if you don't want to use the very basic, simple way, here's what our new PTS charting software actually applies and what we offer you. We have a new background feature, okay? This is a really simple tool for applying, but using the buy-sell line in a different way. Let me show you what I mean here. As we click up Fossil right here, on the top we have our green strategy and technique tab, okay? It has all of our different techniques from strategy 3 all the way up to 5 and 8 steps, everything in the PET D. All you have to do is click one of them on. Now, since we're talking about the buy-sell line, we want to click on that tab, and instantaneously you'll see a drop-down menu, and you have all these different choices for viewing the buy-sell line, the standard 50-period simple moving average. But let's click on the background, and once you click that on, look what it does. It automatically changes the background. If your price is above the 50-period moving average, the background will be a nice soft blue. If price is below the 50-period moving average, the background will be an orange reddish color. So now you can't alter anything. Now you know automatically whether you should be on the long side or on the sell side. Look how easy and simple this is, okay? This is our background feature. And one way to keep it simple, a lot of people are confused in the beginning. Remember that old adage what the sailors used to say about red sky at morning, sailor take warning, red sky at night, sailor's delight, or blue sky at night, sailor's delight? Well, you can add the same thing here with our background. We say it's red sky at morning or red background at morning, trader take warning, because that usually means we're going lower, prices will be headed lower. But blue sky at night, trader's delight, usually means that prices will be going higher. Now, as we see here, this could have helped you. You would have been able to get out of all your long positions at this point well before the market started going lower. Or if you weren't long, you knew that coming in, this was only going to be looked at as short type of trade. Same thing with the QQQs. As we see here, looking back in hindsight, someone said, well, yeah, Steve, I don't need something to tell me this is in an uptrend. I mean, look how long we've been going up here. I need something to tell me way before we've gone up that we were in an uptrend. Okay, click on the buy sell line tab, and we knew as far back as early December. Why? Because the background was already blue. Do you see how important the buy-sell line is, how powerful it is? It's just when price is above the 50-period moving average. But now when you see it this more, different way, or this more unique way, it's easier to apply because the background is simply blue there, and you just know that as long as it's blue, I'm just going to be a buyer. There's no room for discussion there, okay? And even when the QQQs in December of last year were going up and then had 3 nice down days here, what was the background? It remained blue. So this was telling you, well, we're not going to sell anything. The market has not topped until we see, consistent red background here. All right. Now we know a lot of traders will say, well, Steve, we have some traders who are older. We also have some traders who have, like to add different indicators or like to write on the screen and say, this is nice, but it kind of gets in my way. It's a little bit too cumbersome for me. Do you have anything that's that can still tell me that I'll follow the buy-sell line? It's not as simple as a moving average, but at least, has some kind of color bar reference. Sure. We have the color ribbon. All right. This is a great way also to apply the 50-period simple moving average in a different way. It won't be in your way as much as the background. Once again, you would go up to the buy-sell line. The drop-down menu appears. See how simple everything is. There's nothing you have to go back and do some scans or check things out. All you have to do is click on what you're looking for in the Signal and Strategy tab. And now you want to view the chart with the color ribbon. Click that on, and now where we had a background before, everything is either blue or red. Now we knew as far back as here that because the color band lower ribbon was red, orange reddish, we were out of the market. We will be out of the market until it turns blue again. Same thing with the QQQs. If you like to write, I know a lot of our members like to write things on the charts. They like to put arrows in different messages. Also, they like to use other indicators. They don't want to clog up the screen that much, and that's why they like to have the clean background, so they just use the color band ribbon. And once again, we could see here, going back to December, the bottom ribbon was blue the entire time, and it still remains blue. Now we have our last feature, which is the fluid feature. I'm excited about this. This is a fairly new feature we have because it combines the best of both worlds. It will color the screen. On top of that, it will tell you about the velocity or the amount of momentum actually in the trade, and it keeps things once again simple. Let's go back to the buy-sell line. We're looking at Fossil once again, different ways in which to view the buy-sell line. We click on the Strategy tab, and this time we click on Fluid. Simple as that. And now see what we have here. Here's what we have. We have the same exact reference. In other words, once price goes below the 50, all of the we see here that anything at this level is going to be overall downtrend. Anything above this level will be overall uptrend. So this gives you insight to know when just about the trend is going to change. So right off the bat, we know that once we get up above here, we're going to be in an overall uptrend. So you have a kind of idea when it's coming, all right? It also has another added advantage in that we see the slope. When you have this kind of sideways to lower slope, well, that's okay. It's still telling you we're below, so we should be out of the market or at least short. But once you get this really nice, strong downward slope, this is where the velocity and the momentum is. And this is where you want to take advantage. Look at where you had these really nice, steep downward movement. Why? Because we had a really steep downward slope in that moving average line right there. And it works the same way with this upside in the QQQs, the same thing. We click on the buy-sell line. When the drop-down menu appears, we just click on Fluid. And look at the really nice, strong upward slope we had here. All right. So it's telling you, we know exactly, there's a really strong downward day today, all right, but we know exactly that we will not be in an overall downtrend until price comes below, somewhere below. We just would check out the chart for today. These charts were taken just about 3 or 4 days ago, but somewhere around this level here, we know that we'll be in an overall downtrend. All right, so until that happens, we still look for buy opportunities. Doesn't mean we have to buy, we have to add structure. Now this is leads us to the next question. Most people will say, okay, Steve, wow, I love this. Where do I sign up? So the way I understand it is the minute price goes below the red, I sell, and the minute price goes above into the blue, I buy, right? This is a great strategy. Once again, remember the power in this is in the correct way in which to apply it. The buy-sell line is not a strategy. The buy-sell line is not a trading system. The buy-sell line is just a great tool for telling you the overall trend direction of whatever market you're trading. This could be a 5-minute chart. It could be a monthly chart. It does not matter. But the 50-period moving average is the best tool I know of in my 40 years for telling me the overall trend direction. But that's all it is. It does not tell you when to buy. It does not tell you when to sell. So therefore, we need to add a little structure. If we want to buy or sell, we can't just say, well, okay, well, I guess I just keep buying, right? Or I just keep selling if we're in the red. No, we have to have a plan. We have to have a plan of entry. We have to have a plan of exit. We have to have a stop placement plan, a money management plan. These are all very important components of a full-fledged strategy, of a full-fledged trading method, all right? Trouble is, as I'm sure many of you are experiencing right now, most of you are not happy with your trading strategy or trading method. Most of you, purchased something, probably spent thousands, tens of thousands of dollars from some of the testimonials we've gotten, and then they don't work, right? Or they work for a little bit and then they completely go into the hole and you lost money and now you're afraid to even trade it because you don't even really know what it's based off of. And once again, you've given your power away by just taking the signals blindly and you don't really know why you're buying or selling. And that's, as we've often stated, a recipe for disaster. So as an educational company, we're trying to educate you. As an educational company, we want to inform you of what we feel are strategies or methods that have high levels of consistency, mentor you, teach you, so that you can make your own decisions. And this brings us to probably one of our most consistent strategies to date. You've heard me talk about it before, strategy number 4. It's our best strategy in terms of consistency as well. No coincidence, it's our most popular strategy around the globe. I started trading this on the floor some 40 years ago, and I've been using it on a daily basis in some capacity now in my own personal trading. Let me talk about some of the highlights of this. It's for all traders, so it does not matter if you're a beginner, if you just started trading a week ago, or if you've been trading for 30 years. We have some hedge fund traders trading this. We also have some people who've never traded in their life. This is their first strategy. Excuse me. When I first started trading it some 4 decades ago, it was designed for traders looking to catch quick momentum moves. And that's the standard benchmark that we give everyone. That's a standard format. But there are ways to stay in the trade longer if you like, days, weeks, even months if you want to, okay? Does not matter. So don't think that this is a day trade type of strategy. No, we have people that apply this for monthly charts. Its intensity level from 1 to 3 is right in the middle. It's a very moderate number 2. If 1 is the most extreme and 3 is the most relaxed, it's number 2, a very moderate intensity level. It only uses one indicator. And guess what? You already know it. It's the buy-sell line. It's a pattern recognition strategy. Now, I can't give away the pattern, but I'm going to give you one rule to this specific pattern today, okay? But it's based off a pattern that I teach you in the courses and that you'll know, and that ultimately I want you to be able to spot on your own so that you can decide for yourself, well, here's a strategy for buy or sell setup. I can decide whether I want to take it or not based off of what Steve has taught me about the setup, what he's taught me about where I should exit, the risk management. And then it's up to you whether you want to take it or not. Not up to me. I'm not going to give you a signal service and tell you what you have to buy or sell on a nightly basis. The beauty of strategy 4 is it works in any time frame, any direction, in any market. So if you're trading currency pairs, it works great. We have tons of currency pair traders who use it. You trade futures. I mainly trade the E-mini futures. I use it on there on intraday trading. And as you'll see, it works great on stocks as well. Now, once you become a course member, if you decide to become a course member, you receive automatic buy and sell indication, automatic buy and sell arrows. But remember, they are placed there to educate you. They're not, once again, placed there the way so many other, software does. It's so that you basically just say, okay, where's the indicator? What's the arrow telling me to do? You make the decision, and then you check your work to see if there was a buy or sell arrow there. Now, our edge here is consistency. I'm not going to promise you that every trade works out amazingly. We do have, from time to time, some trades that generate small losses, but that's okay. That's perfectly normal. Not every basketball player makes a basket. Not every baseball player hits a home run. Not every movie star has a hit movie every time they make one. It's just normal. It does not mean they've lost their consistency. It's about 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I'll even show you in today's presentation a couple of trades that didn't work out. But the beauty is the signals that were after that made up those losses and more. That's what we're trying to promote. That's what we're trying to teach you, okay? Okay, so let's talk about the rule, the most important rule applied in this pattern, and that is bars must close either the top or bottom 25% of the range. Okay, so let me show you what that means here, because a lot of people get confused with that. If you see a bar here, this could be a 1-minute bar, it could be a monthly bar, makes no difference. But you see the close is at the very top. Well, what you want to do is just measure the range from top to bottom, okay? And if you divide it by 4 separate equal parts, the top part is the top 25%. If you close anywhere in that range, well, the market, not some guy in a chat room, not some guy in a webinar, not some guy on TV, the market, the most important thing you should ever be listening to, is telling you, well, that's an indication to buy. Okay? So that's a great edge you are getting from the thing you're trading. Okay? How about if we close in the bottom? Well, once again, most people can see this on site. It's not something you have to actually do and measure and calculate. But if you look and divide by 4 separate equal parts, the bottom part will be the bottom 25% from here to here. If you close in the bottom 25 and you're below the buy-sell line, what is the market telling me? Remember, the market is the only thing we should be listening to. It's just as if, say you're playing cards. Do you want to listen to some guy standing at the blackjack table or standing at the poker table behind you or beside you telling you, well, I think you should do this, I think you should do this? I would turn around and say, well, who are you? But what if the cards told me what I should be doing? What if the cards were saying, hey, you may want to take this next card because it's what you need? Wouldn't that be a great edge to have? Well, the market does that. It does that to us on a daily basis. We've never been taught to listen to it that way. We've always been taught to listen to some guy, listen to somebody on TV, listen to some indicator. We've never been taught to listen to the market. This is the simplest way to listen to the market. We have tons of ways in our courses to show you how to listen to the market. This is the simplest way I know of, and it's an indication to sell. So listen to the market and you'll get on that road to consistency. When I used to make markets in 50 stocks, trust me, I subscribed to every newsletter. I listened to all these guys on TV. I read all the books. I listened to every earnings announcement that came out. And it didn't tell me one bit to make money. It didn't. I would have great months and then I'd give it all back, and then I'd do great for a while, give it all back. It wasn't until my mentors taught me what I'm trying to instill in you, in that strip away all this stuff, because there's no consistency in it. It's too subjective. And just learn how to listen to the thing that you're trading, which is the market itself, and you'll get much closer to that consistency, what you're searching for. Okay? So let's look at some strategy number 4, trade examples with the buy-sell line included in these setups, okay? And let me show you how consistent you can be. Remember, consistency is 2 steps forward, 1 step back. We will have losses from time to time, but that's okay. You have something that you feel confident enough can make it back. Okay, so let's look at Facebook right here. Now we have our color ribbon buy-sell line applied. And so at this point we were in the red zone, orange-red zone here, but coming into the beginning of the year, we started to have consistent blue. So this is telling us we should be a buyer. Now let's say you are a member of the Strategy 4 course. You've gone to my presentations. You've listened to all the educational videos, and you say, you know what? One of the rules of this is looking for bars that close in the top of their range. Well, these two fit that rule, and at the same time, they fit all of the remaining other rules of the strategy, which I'm sorry I can't divulge right now. It wouldn't be fair to all the people that purchase the strategy. So you say, you know what? Those are 2 buy signals, okay? Now, in order to check your work, this is what we want you to do. We want you to go to the strategy tab, the green tab right here, click on strategy 4. A drop-down menu appears, and you have all these 4 choices here. You want to click on signal arrows. This is the way you find out if you're in line. Once you click that on, the arrows will appear where the signals have been generated. And guess what? You were right. Now we have the added assurance of being in the blue zone. Remember, blue sky at night, trader's delight, higher prices in sight. So these should be pretty good buy signals. In Facebook, this was in February, coming into February of this year, and stock went up an extra 25 points. Now the beauty of strategy 4 is if you're still in sync with the buy-sell line, as we have in the lower color ribbon, and we are still able to see signals being generated, you can continue to look for signals and check your work. And as you can see here, another signal was generated. So it doesn't matter if you miss one. You know, if you're studying or paper trading, there's always a lot of signals being generated. In fact, this strategy, more than any strategy we have, generates the most signals because it really, the pattern is found all over the place. All right, let's look at another setup. This is in UA, Under Armour. This is a daily chart. Now we're using our fluid background, okay? This is our different way. Let's just say you like the fluid style. Okay, great. Now, we were originally above, and now we've had consistent closes below. Now, even though the line, the fluid line, is basically going sideways, a sell signal has been generated. We close it in the bottom 25%, and it meets all the rules of a sell signal, okay? Look what happened. 3 days later, a big gap down. Do you see the power of these simple tools? Had we listened and waited for news, we would have missed this entire sell-off, okay? Waiting for that or maybe trying to figure out what it meant. But because price was below and because listening to the market right here, it was telling us that most likely we're going lower. It was giving us a clue. We could have gone short a full 2 days in advance before this large drop down. All right. Now, even if you miss that, there's no reason to kick yourself. There's always signals being generated later on. Now, this one, once again, would have resulted in a loss. Not to get discouraged, because look at the very next one. You would have made it all back and maybe a little bit more. This one, it depends how you wanted to play it. It could have either been a break-even trade or a winner had you stayed in longer. And this one would have resulted in a small loss. But guess what? Now that price has jumped back up above, well, now we were looking at this from a buy point of view. So you see, you have some winners, you have some losses, but over time, the winners far outgain the losses. Let's look at a daily chart of Apple coming into the year. Now, originally, we're looking at the background feature of the buy-sell line. Originally, we were in the orange-reddish mode, telling us that the overall trend is down. And we had a sell signal that generated a little gain, nothing great, but it was okay. And then, since we got consistent blue background here, now we start changing our point of view, and we're looking for buy setups. We've got one here and one here. And so far, working out pretty well. But had you decided to stay in the trade, look what happened. We've continued to be in the blue background, telling you that the overall trend is up. Had you taken these first buy signals here, well, that's 40 points in your direction. Now, we're not saying everyone made 40 points on those trades, because that would mean that we're telling you where to enter, where to exit. Everyone has their own choice. We're giving you your own freedom. We give you a standard benchmark when a signal has been generated. How you decide to get in, how you decide to get out, how you decide to place your money management stop placement, it's up to you. We're not trading for you. Remember, if I did, I would basically be guaranteeing you that ultimately you're going to lose. And I don't believe in that. What you've got to do is get the information, study it along with me as your mentor, and then be able to make your own trading decisions. What we do is provide you with high probability strategies and entry points. Now let's look at UA again, Under Armour again. Let's look at a weekly chart. And now we're looking with the color ribbon, okay? Going back to November 2015, we were actually in the blue mode, the overall uptrend, but then we switched over in December of 2015 into an overall downtrend because the color ribbon turned reddish orange. So we knew at this point, roughly right here, to sell this stock or only to look at it from a sell point of view. Now, if we're thinking about looking for sell signals, well, we kind of have an idea here that there is a sell signal generated or somewhere around here because we're still in the overall downtrend. We have some bars here that closed in the bottom 25%. Let's check our work. Click on Strategy 4. The drop-down menu will appear. We'll click on Signal Arrows to see where the signals are and check our work. And yes, a sell signal was generated right here. All right, this was in March of 2016. All right, just about a year ago, I should say, a year and a couple of months ago, and look what happens, okay? Did we know that this tremendous sell-off was going to happen in UA? Well, we didn't know it was going to be that severe, but we knew that we should only be selling. Why? Because did we study the earnings? Did we study the important components of the company? Did we study fundamental news? Did we listen to some guy in a chat room? Absolutely not. Those things are too discretionary. We only listen to the market. The market tells you just about everything you need to know. So the market was telling us well in advance of this strong sell-off to get out. If we're not going to go short, we should not even be in this. And as you can see, it's gone down ever since. Now here's BABA, B-A-B-A. We have the fluid feature on top of this. Now as you can see, this gives you a lot more options because we can see the severity of the downward slope here, giving us the option to go short. And then we also know when we're going to jump back in to the overall uptrend. So once we gap up here and then closed above 2 or 3 consecutive bars, we know that we are now looking for buy setups. And we didn't get any until roughly April, but then we had a confluence, a lot of buy setups here, which could have generated 25 points in our favor. As you can see, while we were going up, that's the beauty of this, we see that we have a very, very strong upward slope, about 45-degree angle. So this is giving us assurance that we may have higher consistency in these trades. As well, we know that if we get down to this level, we have some type of measurement when we know we're going to be in the overall downtrend. So there's a lot of things that we have in addition with this fluid style. Now that's not just the only market. We're going to apply this to the futures. Here's an hourly chart of the E-mini with a color band ribbon. Now looking at this was just about 3 weeks ago in April, end of April. We see here that the color band ribbon was blue. Now here was a buy signal, all right? Even though the overall trend was up, guess what? Didn't work out too well, and you most likely would have been stopped out around here for a small loss. What is our credo? Our strategies are consistent. We're not trying to promise you that every trade is going to be a winner. So you would have had a small loss right off the bat there on that hourly trade. But if you stuck with it, here's the very next setup right here. You could have gone long, and look what happened. 40 points to the upside in the next 3 days. And look at all the other signals that were generated. So that's the beauty, once again, of our strategies, of our methods. They have consistency with them. All right? If you have 1 or 2 small losses, oftentimes you can make them back up right away. Here's a 5-minute chart of the E-mini, just going back, I believe, a week or so. As you can see, we had a sell signal right up here at the top, but then once we started to get the strong downward slope, this is where the signals really started to kick in, and each and every one of these would have been a nice winner had you stayed in with it. Now, this is only a 5-minute chart, but that generated roughly 8 points in your favor, or about 400 points for the day, trading one contract. And then lastly, let's look at a 30-minute chart of the Swiss franc, okay? Just because it can transfer, it does not matter what time frame or what market we're looking at. Now this was a little more advanced way to trade because as we can see here, a sell signal was generated right here on this 30-minute bar of the Swiss franc, and we had just barely gotten over into the overall trend zone on a 30-minute time frame. We would suggest to our members and students who are just starting out to give yourself a little bit more room. You should have anywhere from 2 to 5 bars of a continuous color to tell you that the overall trend is either up or down. But this is a little bit more advanced. Had you decided to take this trade, well, look what happened. You see how sensitive the buy-sell line is, how it knew right off the bat, that we were going to be going lower. Now, once again, as a beginner or someone just starting out, we would say, listen, it's probably best not to take that setup and wait. And had you waited, don't worry, there were always more signals being generated. So it's not the type of thing like, boy, I miss it. I guess I won't get another setup for another couple of days. No, this is something that will generate lots and lots of signals. Had you taken the first one, well, that was 90 pips or roughly $900 in about 2 or 3 days. Okay, so before we go to questions and answers, let's recap. What did we educate you today? What did we teach you today? Well, we talked about basically the buy-sell line. Remember, the buy-sell line is tremendously simple but tremendously powerful. The secret to trading success is to never go long below the buy-sell or the 50-period simple moving average, and to never sell short above the buy-sell line or 50-period simple moving average. Every once in a while, you will get some great trades that are, fly in the face of that rule. But remember, the secret to trading success is consistency. I know tons of traders when I was trading on the floor that made big killings off big trades, either buying at the bottom or selling at the top. And they made, either hundreds of thousands or close to millions of dollars in a relatively short time. And not one of those traders is trading today. Why? Because they've given it all back. Just like the slot machines, there's no consistency in trying to look for more trades that way. Every once in a while, you'll get a big winner, but most likely you'll give it back. So consistency is in applying the simple things, okay? Now, secondly, we talked about not only the buy-sell line, but strategy number 4, our most consistent strategy. Remember, strategy is structure. It tells you exactly where to get in, where to get out, where to place your stop, where to exit. it has all these fine pieces of the puzzle, where the buy-sell line is just an overall trend identifier. Once you combine these two, you really increase your odds for success. Remember, a strategy is listening to the market. A strategy will tell you what the market is trying to convey. And one of the best rules I know of for doing that is this rule right here. Bars must close in either the top or bottom 25% of the range. Now, if you're above the 50-period moving average, or if the buy-sell line is blue, and you see a bar closing in the top 25% of the range, that is a clue coming from the source, coming from what's on your screen, telling you most likely what it wants to do. It wants to go higher. Conversely, if price is below the 50-period in the reddish-orange type background, and it closes the bottom 25%, that's the market telling you what it wants to do. Most likely it wants to go lower. What a great edge to have, okay? So, as we close here, I want you to ask yourself, do you think this education I've just shared with you in the past 45 minutes could have helped your trading this past year? Once again, go back and look at your last 10 and 15 trades with the buy-sell line. I can almost guarantee that you were having losses because you were buying below the 50 period and selling above. Well, guess what? We have a great offer for you today, okay? Finally, the trading educational portal you've been searching for. All of my strategies, all of my techniques, all of my methods, everything I've accumulated in 40 years is on our new PTS Primo charts, what I've developed with Pro Trader Strategies. Really excited about it. Here's what we're offering you today. We're going to offer strategy 4, all of the rules. You're going to know exactly where to enter, where to exit, where to place your stop. You're going to know the basic format, and you're going to be able to calculate and know exactly how to identify signals on your own. But we're not stopping there. We're also going to give you the PTS Primo charts so that you'll have the buy-sell line background. You can use all the different features to find out what the background is and how you want to apply the buy-sell line. And we're not stopping there. We're going to kick it in some more. We're also, as a bonus, we're including the scanner. All right, let me show you how the scanner can help you. We have a lot of traders who are not able to intraday trade, or they come home from work and they don't have the time or effort to go through the entire S&P 500 to look for strategy number 4 setups. So let me show you how simple and how easy it is. Remember, our credo at Specialist Trading and Pro Trader Strategies is to keep your trading as simple as possible. And as you have just seen in the last 45 minutes, our rules are extremely simple. And we transfer that over onto our new platform. We keep things as simple as possible. There's not a lot of back and forth, not a lot of heavy lifting. Let me show you how easy it is to come home and scan on a nightly basis, and what the process would be for you to trade the next day. All right, let's say you're looking at charts. You come home after work, you see a couple of charts, and you're trading strategy 4. All you would have to do, once again, is go to our strategy green tab up here and click on strategy 4. All right. The drop-down menu will appear, giving you all these different options and features. All you have to do is click on Scan, which means you want to scan for all the strategy 4 signals that were generated that night on the close coming in for tomorrow. Well, this window will appear. All you have to do is click on Load Symbols right here in the left-hand corner, and you will have a selection of different indices, ETFs, stocks that you want to apply to the scan. It can be anywhere from the S&P 500 to the NASDAQ to your own portfolio if you like. And once you click them on, you decide which ones you want to view. It will automatically load them for you. It takes about a minute, okay? Once they're loaded, then you just simply hit the scan button right here to the right. And what this is going to do is it's going to scan the entire list that you've loaded, that you've decided on, whatever it is. Once again, it could be your portfolio of maybe 10 or 20 stocks, or it can be the S&P 500. It makes no difference. But it will scan the entire list, whatever you've uploaded, for strategy 4 signals at the end of the day of that trading day, so that you know what to look for the next day. Okay? How does it do that? Well, it takes about 30 seconds. And once it does, you'll see some lines here colored either red or green. When you see a red bar here, as we see, well, it's corresponding to a specific stock, and that means that that is a sell signal. Red means a sell. Remember, red sky at night, or red sky at morning, I should say, trader take warning. So that means it's a sell signal. If you see a green highlighted somewhere, that means a buy signal is generated. Well, if we scroll down a little bit more, we would have seen that a green highlight was generated in Yahoo. Okay, so you click on the chart of Yahoo, And here's the buy signal right here. You have the up green arrow, and this was generated on the 6th of April. Now you're saying, well, okay, it meets the rules. It closed in the top 25%. I just want to make sure that it's in sync with the buy sell line. So you click on the buy sell line tab. Let's say you decided to choose the color ribbon, okay? And as you can see, the color ribbon is green or blue. So automatically you feel confident, you're in sync, and more than anything else, you've seen that for a long time, even though we've been going sideways, this has been blue. So you feel confident enough to take this trade, and in the following weeks, the stock is up 5 points. Okay, this was an actual signal generated that you could have scanned for, and we have dozens of these being generated on a nightly basis. Remember, this is just the color band. With the PTS Primo charts, you have the option of using the background, or you could use the fluid feature. As you can see here, with a nice, this would have told you that you had some nice velocity included by this strong upward slope. So here's what we're doing. We're offering the strategy number 4, the complete rules, all that, all the course for $6.95. We're also offering 3 months of live data to the PTS Primo charts. Now that usually costs $400 just for 3 months. Here's what we're doing. We're slashing that. In fact, we're slashing it down to 0. We're throwing that in completely for free. So you're going to get 3 months of live data, PTS Primo charts, all this information I shared with you, the scanner, all of the features for the buy sell line, including the strategy number 4, getting all the arrows to that for $6.95. Okay, that is a fantastic, fantastic deal. And I think once you've seen it, along with my mentoring, you can contact me whenever you'd like via email, and I can answer any question. So I'll be your personal mentor as well. This is all included at a great price. You get a chance to try out our new PTS Primo charts and have me there as your personal mentor. Remember, strategy number 4, along with 3 months of free PTS Primo charts, as I've just displayed for you today. Here's how to take advantage of this great, great special deal, only for the next couple of days, I believe. Contact trading@protraderstrategies.com, my sister site. You can call them directly at area code 310-598-6677, or you can click on the link, as you see on the very bottom there. That is the link that will take you to the sign-up page. It's not live, so you would have to copy and paste that. But if you look over on the chat box on the far right-hand corner of the GoToWebinar, you will see they have posted a live link there. So you can just simply click that on, and it will take you to the sign-up page. Lots of more information about what we're offering. So this is a great, great deal. I would really strongly suggest taking advantage of it, because you'll get 3 months of free data for the PTS Primo charts, along with strategy 4. Now the strategy 4, I know there'll probably be a lot of questions. People are saying, well, do I only get access to the Strategy 4 course for 3 months? No, that's yours for life, and you are a student of mine for life. So you will have that information forever, okay? That comes through video seminars and video courses. And also you can email me for forever, as long as you'd like. The only thing lasting for 3 months is our free data offer we have for the PTS Primo charts. But I think after you've seen it, or after you've applied the different ways with the buy-sell line, you'll be convinced that this is the best way to go, because it's so simple. I mean, how many of you have gotten platforms before, and you have no idea how to apply them, you don't have no idea what to do, and you're just kind of lost, and there's just too much information? If we teach and trade simplicity, then our platform is going to be a manifestation of that as well. It's going to be the same thing. It's going to be extremely simple to use. So we have lots of informational, different presentation webinars on how to use the platform. You'll have 3 free months to see how well it works for you, okay? I'm going to leave all this information up here so you can copy it down. I would suggest calling this number, 310-598-6677. Maybe they can even structure a payment plan for you. So if you don't want to come up with the $6.95, you can still just put down a small deposit and start trading right away and using the platform, okay? So there's lots of great ways. They'll work with you. There's no obligation, but give Pro Trader Strategies a call. I'm going to open up the question and answer box and leave this information up. So thanks a lot for holding off on questions. Let's see here. Nelson asks, this principle works for all markets? Yes, it does, Nelson. That's the beauty of what we teach and trade. I would say 90% of everything I teach and trade can be applied to any market, any time frame, and any direction. So don't think that, well, I'm just a currency pair trader. I guess this doesn't work for me because Steve didn't show a lot of currency pair examples. No, it doesn't matter. Okay, it can work on tick charts. It can work on monthly charts. It does not matter. Okay, we have students that are in every market, every time frame using these techniques. Okay. Same thing with strategy 4. We have traders who trade 10-minute charts, strategy 4 of currency pairs. We also have people who trade strategy 4 on weekly and monthly bars of stocks. Now, I use it intraday trading of the futures a lot, so it's up to you. Question DT says, if the bar closes in the top 25% of the range around the 50 simple moving average, but the PET D is red, would it still be a buy? Well, I don't want to go too much into the PET D because I know we may have a lot of people who are not familiar with the PET D. The PET D, just to simplify your question here, is a short-term trend identifier. So it's a completely different animal, where the buy-sell line is the overall trend identifier. The PET D is the short-term. And so a lot of traders like to have them in sync, but it is not in any way required. Some of our traders only use the PET D, some of them use it in conjunction with the buy-sell line. It's up to you, okay? Let's see, Ronald is saying, the software that creates the blue and red color schemes for buy and sell signals, is this simply the 50-period simple moving average that creates the colors? Is there something else in the software? No, I think I explained this in the beginning, Ronald. What most students do, once they apply a 50-period simple moving average on most charting software packages, it's so easy to access and so basic, just seeing a line there, that they start to become bored and they start to see other moving averages and they start to see, talk to other guys in other webinars or chat rooms and say, you know what, you've got to use the 8-period moving average along with the 20-period. And then they see how simple it is to alter and edit the rules, and pretty soon they're not even using it correctly because they've added all these other things. We devised the color background scheme so that you couldn't change it, so that you kind of had to stick to the rule. Now you're always, free to apply another moving average if you like. We give you the option that on the platform. You can use a 20-period along with that, but that way just by the color if you should be long or short. Okay, so it doesn't give you any room to change and alter. That's one of the reasons why most of our students fall off the wagon, so to say, is because they start experimenting a little bit and getting bored and saying, boy, I missed this really great top and bottom here. And then they alter or they move away from the rules, and then in a couple of weeks or even months, they're back in the zero column again. They've lost everything they gained. So we're just trying to keep you on the straight and narrow, and that's what it does, okay? Let's see, I get it. The color change according to the 50 and the upper 25 and bottom 50, correct? Yes. Well, what you want to do is see a stock close in its upper 25% range if the background color is blue, meaning it's above the 50, and if a stock closes in the bottom 25%, you want to see the background reddish orange or below the 50 period. Okay, that's the basis for strategy 4. Okay. From Montreal, Mike says, using the 50-period for spot Forex through would give delayed signals. Isn't that right? Just asking. No, not really, because remember, we're not getting signals from the 50-period moving average. It's just telling us what side to be on, all right? It's about consistency. And I just showed you tons of charts, and those were just, pick charts that are very, current and popular stocks and currency pairs, as well as the futures, and you see the consistency in it. Remember, I'm saying consistency. I'm not saying that every trade is going to be a winner. Every once in a while, you will miss one, but it's the consistency that works. That's all we're trying to instill in you, consistency. We're in no way promising you the way so many other presenters do, like, oh, you do this, you never lose a trade, or you have 100% winners. We don't believe in that. So we're just trying to get you to be a consistent trader. If you apply the 50-period moving average, we feel confident you will become consistent with that. Now, we have other ways to increase that consistency by looking at stocks that close in the bottom or top 25% of their range. We also have the PET D. We also have other strategies. All of these things will add to your level of consistency, okay? Let's see. Emmanuel asks, is there a difference between the 50-period simple moving average and the 50-period smooth moving average? I don't think much. I don't really see smooth that much. A lot of times it's called simple moving average, but I'm not really familiar with smooth that well, or what the parameters are. But I think it would be okay if you could compare them against the two and just see which one. Maybe one has a steeper slope. But when we use the 50 period, we're mainly basing everything off of the 50-period simple moving average, okay? And a lot of people ask, well, why do you use that? Because in my 40 years, I have not seen any other moving average or indicator that works better than that in defining the overall trend. I just haven't. I've been trading for 40 years now. I haven't seen anything that has defined the overall trend better than that simple 50-period moving average, okay? So to make it easy for you to see, we've given you the background colors, the color ribbon, and the fluid, okay? We've also given you tons of strategies. We've also given you other methods. It's all in the PTS platform. So this is all. You'll get this for $6.95, and you're basically just paying for the strategy 4 plus 3 months of the PTS platform, okay, with that subject to that live data. So for more questions about this deal, this great deal, contact ProTrader Strategies. They handle all of my discounts and courses and pricing. They can work with you, put a package together with you, and if you want more, or if you know, it's up to you, but it really is a great offer. We just started with the PTS Primo platform. We've got rave reviews about it already. I mean, from people who are already starting to use it, and we've really put in our heart and soul. It's 40 years of things simplified so that you know how to be in sync with the market. We're trying to teach you how to trade so that you can become a consistent trader, okay? Let me just see if there's any more questions here. Remember, our credo is if you keep things simple, you will get on that road to consistency. So you'll not only find that simplicity in our strategies and in our methods, as I just shared with you today, you'll also find it in the platform. The platform is extremely simple to use. We have tons of different informational presentations, recordings for you to view to make it easy for you to walk through the process. But I just showed you the process of scanning, the process of looking for strategy 4 signals, and then just punching up a chart and then deciding whether you want to trade, and then how to click on the buy sell line. It makes it really simple. Now, a lot of people are asking me what I think of today. I haven't seen where, in the last hour, I haven't seen what the market has done. I know we were selling off more as I started this presentation about an hour and a half ago. I haven't seen what's done yet, but I know we have a room or some ways to go before we go into the bottom part. But remember, our philosophy is to put you in charge. The reason why you, always ask mentors, so-called mentors or so-called gurus, what they think of a certain stock, what they think of a sell-off, what they think is because basically you're telling yourself, I don't know what to do. What do you think? And what we really teach our students is never to ask that question, because that's basically another way of saying, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to do. Once you have this information, once you've been educated, there's no reason to ask anyone what they think. Okay? Can you imagine someone flying a plane? Someone being the captain on an airliner, and then asking the people in the seats, what do you think I should do? How do you think I should fly this? Or how about a brain surgeon? After years and years of education, would he ever ask someone, well, what should I do here now? How do I close up the skull? They have the education, they know what to do. After practice, after doing it a while, there's no reason to ask. So it's the same way with trading. Top specialists, top traders, they never ask other traders, what do you think I should do? Why? Because they feel confident in what they've practiced and what they've learned that will give them that consistency. So even though I know I take your questions now, I want you to get to that point where you'll never have to ask anyone or any person or ask an indicator, what should I do? Because that's basically telling the markets, I don't know what I'm doing. All right? We don't want you to ever be at that spot. We want you to have confidence and to know exactly what to do. You look at a chart, you punch up the buy-sell line, you put on the background, you know exactly you should be either buying or selling by looking at the color. See how simple that is? All right. Now you punch up strategy 4. You know exactly where a buy or sell signal is. Now, you don't rely on the arrows. You know exactly from my mentoring and my teaching in our online courses where that pattern is. So you know how to identify it already. This is putting yourself in charge. This is the only way you will become consistent. Okay? So this is our goal here. I know we're different from other webinars you've been to. I want to educate you. There's enough room for everyone to become consistent. So that's my goal here, to educate you so that you can ultimately put yourself in charge. Okay? Listen, we've come to the end of the hour here. I hope you've gotten something out of this. You see how much attention I give to detail, to trying to educate you. That's my only purpose here. I've been trading for 40 years. I know what I'm doing now. I don't have to ask anybody. I want to get you all to that point so that you can be trading 10, 20, 30, 40 years down the road. That, in my meaning, is the true meaning of success. And I'm trying to get you on there all as well, okay? So please take advantage of this great offer we have. $6.95. I'm sure you can put together some type of payment plan and you'll get to experience the PTS Primo charts, which I'm extremely proud of, for 3 months free, okay? All the data and everything there free, okay? Thank you so much for attending today. I hope you got something out of this. I look forward to all of you becoming members of my Strategy 4 course and the PTS Primo Charting Platform. And I wish you all the best of success, okay? Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.